Warmdown Pod with Jose and Saucy.
The Warmdown Pod is brought to you by SW Strategies and Fight Zone and is recorded at 24A ASEAN Road. Trigger warning. This recording may include harsh words, and we apologize in advance if you are offended.
Oh, welcome back, Sasi. What's happening? And glad to see you here again, and this time around in different outfits.
Yes.
What is happening? And with that cap, by the way, I'm also missing my cap, man.
No, man, your cap is the top of the town now.
That cap is only meant for journalist Joes. Okay?
Journalist Joes, and you have this demeanor about journalist Joes, right? And you're speaking to the mic like, oh,
That's a different accent.
what a character, right?
And it's-
Can you do the accent for us, please?
Oh, so Sasi, thank you very much for stopping to talk to us. What is happening?
I have to move my lips in the right direction. My God, Jose, I'm very happy to see you. I think this has become now the highlight of my week. Coming to sit down with you and
10 episodes.
yeah,
Sasi,
10 episodes in.
10
We
episodes.
ever since we started this, honestly speaking, almost at a whim, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And now we are 10 episodes in. I think it's a fantastic milestone. People are talking to us about it. Somebody told me they enjoyed and they enjoy the episodes, right? I hear my son playing the TikTok snips that we post, right? I mean, I think it's great. I think we've enjoyed ourselves.
10 episodes in, I think we also need to start thinking about what's next and how do we take this forward, right? So
Yeah.
I think one of the things we've been discussing is, should we bring guests on the show, right? And if yes, who should we start off with?
Maybe let's get everyone to
Yeah, maybe they should tell us who would you like
you
to.
tell us who you would like to see in.
Right now, it's Kasim.
Is he gonna bring a knife, man? First
For 10 episodes, name has appeared in every single episode.
yes.
Surely Firdaus Kasim must be our first guest.
For us, Kasim, I would like you to know that I am a neutral. I will referee that if you come in, but yeah, I'm perfectly happy to have you in.
Nathan Mao.
Nathan Ma, yeah, first cap. My God, 16-year-old. How does it feel to be a 16 years old? I've seen this boy play since he was 13, 14, and he's been a notch above the rest. And yeah, I mean, he hasn't started so much for the young lions. I have to say that, yeah. But he's got a national cap. Looked a bit lively when he came on, and yeah.
Hopefully, whatever they are planning for him, what happens for him. I mean, nothing against the player, but the point would also be like, if you're going to select players for the national team, surely it's going to be based on performance at the club level, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Are going to select them on any other basis, I think those bases need to be known, because I think it's very unfair for a Farhan Zulkifli who's been playing week in, week out for Hougang. For Hougang, and he is selected to be in the national team, but he doesn't get a chance to play. Whereas a player who has minimal time playing with Young Lions gets a chance to get capped. That's unfair and actually downright ridiculous as well. Again, like I said, this is not against Nathan Mao in any way. Okay, I mean,
it's a call up that I didn't predict, right?
Of course, none was predicted because he was called up at the very last minute. Even Haris Harun, when he was capped at the national level, he was playing consistently.
Yeah. So the thing is now Nathan Mao being 17.
Yes.
Yeah. Capped at 17 years old. Now you put him in this fame group of the Fandi, Sundram, Haris Harun, right? All capped at. You're going to be special, right?
Yeah, so special. Then make it known.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, don't say you're basically you're selecting players based on meritocracy, because that's BS as well. If you're planning for him to create a story so he can go and play in Burnley, tell us. Don't hide it, because we're not dumb.
Is he going to Burnley? Is that news?
No. I'm just creating stuff like the same way. We said we wanted. We asked Gavin that why is it you didn't call Iman Fandi to the national team? Iman was there. Iman Fandi was there. So we are doing what the Simpsons do. We predict shit which will happen down the line.
It's quite amazing, Jose. I mean, you have predicted quite a lot of things.
You can draw the lines. You can actually join the dots. You can read through sometimes and see what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I I I absolutely love him as a player. Yeah, he was called up. He didn't do too bad. It was a lot of energy in his play, right? Yeah, the call up was a bit contentious, I feel.
It's unfair. Okay, imagine what's the signal you're sending to all other players in the league. What's the signal you're sending to parents of those players in the league that my son can go give his life, sacrifice week in, week out, and
Day in, day out, literally. Yeah.
get selected
Yeah.
or gets selected but sits on the bench, but a player who doesn't play comes in and gets a chance to get grabbed. What games are y'all playing?
When I looked at the response, I mean, it was good that he gave a good account of himself, honestly.
Again, this is nothing against
Yeah.
the player, okay?
Putting all this into perspective, yes, you got to ask why. You got to ask, is there something else involved here?
I don't know, man. And the only thing I can think about is they need to create a narrative which suits them so that when the time comes, it makes sense. A player who's not capped at the national level is probably not gonna help, if a question's asked, if he's going away for any training stints or even attachments.
Does it mean that his space for the AFC Cup is confirmed already?
Yeah, you get. I mean, everybody
The Asian
wants
Cup, for the Asian Cup.
right? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, right now, even before the Asian Cup comes along, we've got two other major competitions, right? We've
Yeah.
got the ASEAN Football Federation's
Yeah.
Hyundai Cup. Is that what you call? Yeah, it's Hyundai Cup. And then you got the FIFA ASEAN Cup, which is a
Yes.
perfect segue for us to talk about
Yeah.
what is going on.
FIFA has come up with the ASEAN Cup that happens in
October.
got the AFF Championships, which you guys used to know has the Tiger Cup, has the
Suzuki Cup.
Suzuki Cup, and now the Hyundai Cup.
There's a Hyundai Cup.
Yeah.
It was
So-
the Mitsubishi Electric Cup for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
I know. All right. So that is happening just after the World Cup. Okay, to be honest, the AFF Championship has given us some
Moments.
moments, right? We had that the shoulder blade moment. We had we've won it 4 times. Did we win it?
We won it 4 times in
4 times,
1998, 2004, 2007, 2012.
Yeah.
The ready
So-
years, right?
Yeah. So the ready years, yes, precisely. And I remember before the 1998, and my dad had a long stint overseas, and the most exciting thing that I had to tell him when he came back was, do you know how many AFF Cups we won, right? How many Tiger Cups at the time it was called, right? And obviously we treasure the Blade of God moment, right?
I was there, by the way, in Vietnam. I was there
My
in Vietnam for
God,
that
yeah.
tournament. I was
So-
in the Straits Times then.
Yeah. So I'm sure the Blade of God himself, Sasikuma, when he goes to Vietnam, he's still a recognized figure. You killed so many dreams, right? At the end of the day, and then FIFA has come up with ASEAN Cup, right? Which is in October. For the layman, right, you got to understand this, that the AFF Suzuki Cup is not in no, not the Suzuki Cup, the AFF Cup is not in a FIFA window. Clubs can choose not to let your Iksans go.
It's within their right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And don't forget, that period when they're having the tournament this year is actually pre-season for the club.
Yes.
Because the season would begin in
Yeah.
August.
For example, we brought up the ASEAN quota in Thailand, right? So if a club, BG Patum, decides that Iksan is great, we will hire him as a full-fledged foreigner, and then do we send him back to Singapore and risk a bit of injury before the season starts? No, we don't.
No, so which is why again, I think there are a lot of moves happening behind the scenes right now, where I think a lot of players might actually end up coming to play in Singapore, so that Gavin can have an opportunity to keep these players together ahead of these tournaments.
Yeah.
My suspicion is, I think a lot of these players may be coming back. The point about ASEAN Cup and the AFF Championships is, how is it we have two similar competitions 3 months apart? Same teams, same region.
Yes.
So what is this game? What's this political game which is being wrangled out right now in front of our eyes?
So what's the reason? Maybe you can. I mean, I'm not familiar with this political scene, but maybe you can feed the listeners on what are your thoughts?
Member associations
Uh-huh.
like Football Association of Singapore, Football Association of Malaysia are all affiliated to the AFC, the Asian
Mm.
Football Confederation. And
Mhm.
Asian Football Confederation is one of the bodies which is affiliated to the world body FIFA.
Yep.
Right. The ASEAN Football Federation is just a loose grouping. In inverted commas, I call them the rogue organization,
Mhm.
which actually does not need to exist. It was created at a time when there was a need. 1996, there was only the SEA Games.
For this group of countries, yes, there was only the SEA Games.
Only SEA Games. And across the world, there were such partnerships which were started between member federations. Like, in the Middle East, there's a West Asian Football Federation.
Mm.
In East Asia, there's also the East Asia Football Federation.
Mhm.
But it's a loose organization of member nations. Okay. It's not exactly recognized as an entity. FIFA, in my view, feels that need to control football in every aspect. Why allow this loose organization to make money out of a tournament when FIFA rightfully should have access and rights to that revenue?
Yeah.
FIFA has done something like that in West Asia, right? Where they actually went and created the FIFA Arab Cup, which in the end kind of diminished the West Asian Football Federation.
Exactly.
So there's a precedent which has taken place in another part of the world. It's happening here. Now, where does it leave the AFF, right?
Mm.
Probably they'll need to either have this competition in alternate years, or back down and not do this at all and run all their other tournaments like the youth tournaments and the women's tournaments. But to what end?
Yeah.
But the big money spinner actually is this one,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
The AFF, ASEAN Football Federation Football Championship,
Yeah.
right? That's the big money spinner because they've sold the rights to marketing agency Spot5 to essentially monetize it, right?
So now what's going to happen is
So we all have too much football.
and FIFA is forcing the teams not to let players go, right?
No, I don't think that's a FIFA thing.
No,
Because
yeah, but,
previously in
you
the
know,
past already,
Mhm.
FIFA is now giving an opportunity to the clubs to make up their mind.
If they don't release the China tips and the players who will make this AFF Cup exciting.
Fans are not turn up. Broadcasters are not going to pay money for the rights. Sponsors are not going to end up paying money because the big players are not attending because you can't activate,
Exactly.
right?
And with countries in like Thailand and Vietnam with players of significant caliber, if they don't show up.
Yeah, so Infantino's big brain.
Yeah.
Right? Is this going to be the end of the AFF?
It could be.
In
You
some
never
ways,
know.
I think, but
Yeah.
obviously diminishing role. It's taken some time for this to happen, but the fact is, I think even in the last tournament, clubs are really not releasing players, right? Because it's outside the FIFA window, and clubs do not need to release the players because there's risk of injuries and all
They
that,
don't
right?
need to, right?
Some teams benefit because they've got tier 2, tier 3 players to take part and fill the role of the stars who are missing. We don't have that benefit. We don't have the benefit of having a tier 2 because our young lions who think the SPL have lost for the last 1 year, like Firdaus Tassim.
Yeah.
Right.
If the Thai players come back to Singapore, then Firdaus Qasim has a chance to rock his first win.
I don't even want to predict. Anyways, but the point I think we're trying to make is that there's just too much of football. So I see the way does it leave the fan, right? I mean, think about it. We've got World Cup,
Mm.
and then we've got this AFF Hyundai Cup, and then the SPL starts,
Yeah.
and then
And
there's a
then you
break
got-
for the
yeah.
FIFA ASEAN Cup.
Uh-huh.
In between, there's also Shopee Cup. There's also ACL 2.
Oh yeah.
Where-
Gosh.
And that's the reason why stadiums are empty,
Yeah.
right?
You're spreading people too thin, right?
How are we can't be going to the stadium every week or every other day to watch football, right? There's a SPL match, and then after you got to go and watch the Shopee Cup, and then
And
the
then,
ACL.
yeah.
No wonder at the ACL 2 quarterfinals, which Tampines played against the Thai team, there were only 1,000 over Tampines fans who turned up.
How can you be playing in the ACL too?
So there's
Yeah.
too much of football, and in the end, look, I'm
Yeah.
we are talking from a fan's perspective, right?
Yeah.
How about the players?
I
Are they
mean,
robots or what?
you risk the players to injury, you put their careers at stake,
Too much of football, which is why I think even in the EPL, I mean, in the English league, see, like, some clubs like Arsenal, if I'm not wrong, they play the youth players or second-tier players for like the League Cup
Yep.
matches, right? Sometimes the early parts of the FA Cup. Also, so they do that because they've
Yeah.
got a depth.
I'm thinking of the time where Arsenal played Kepa in the League Cup final.
Right? There's just too much football, not just for the fans, but for the players as well. They're robots or what?
I do think it's going to be massively hit, this AFF Championship. I've loved it for a good 20 years now.
All good things come to an end.
Yeah, all
And
good
I
things come
suspect
to an
this is coming to an end very soon.
Yeah.
I mean, interestingly, I just met I had coffee with a president of another member association in this region. I had coffee with him when I was away very recently, and I actually brought this up about the FIFA ASEAN Cup and what's going to happen to the AFF. The impression I got was that he thinks that nothing will happen. But so that's the thing. So I was asking him, like, why do you think so, right? There's obviously competition right now from the world body. So his response was quite interesting. He said, "Oh, if FIFA wants to mess around with ASEAN, with that kind of we have that kind of a voting block. We all vote together. Is that the kind of game they want to play, or is that the right thing to do?" But I was thinking, but votes are secret, and in the end, all of you, member associations might decide you want to be one block, but in the end, how it votes, you not know,
Yeah.
right? So I hope they realize that this is not just going to hurt fans; it hurts players. But anyway, talking about players and fans, we are reaching the tail end of the Singapore Premier League season.
Oh yeah, man.
And what do you think?
How
What's
many
going to
more
happen?
games are there? 14.
I think 6, 7,
6, 7.
most 6 or 7.
Okay. To be honest, what are your thoughts? Is LCS going to run away with that?
I think LCS will be the champions.
Uh,
I think Tampines Rovers are pretenders,
oh,
right?
really?
Yeah, because
No, but
who's the coach?
seriously.
Who's the coach? Robert or Kino? And I'm not talking about Roy Kino. I'm talking.
Yeah, okay. But realistically, Tampines Rovers has a game in hand, right? If they win that game, the point difference becomes just 2, right? 2 points. And to be honest, very, very achievable. Asias is a new coach, right? I look at the run of games they have. It looks like a shoe-in. They're going to win the title. But Tampines can do something about it if they want to. They can put pressure. They got to continue winning, obviously, right? They got a big game this weekend, right? Yeah, coach situation. I don't know what's happening there, but situation doesn't look too promising, honestly. Yeah.
From what we've also been from what I've also been told, I think there's some players who are already unhappy, right? And then the management doesn't speak to the media, which is also terrible. You come and take over Singapore club, take seed money from
Yeah.
the FAS, and then you don't speak to the Singapore media and you ignore requests for interviews, questions. What are they running? Are they running some kind of another rogue organization here? I mean, let's not forget this is a Singapore football club. I put the blame on whoever allowed new chairman to take over, right? Look at what's happening to this Singapore club. Okay. And they need to fix this right now, or else it's gonna be things are get ugly. I mean, if we're talking about governance issues here, they're taking money from the football association through seed money. If you're not taking it, fine, you're going to use your own money, right?
Correct. I absolutely agree with you.
You're using a public facility, Tampines Hub, which is a public facility.
Exactly.
You don't own that stadium. Tampines Rovers has got a long history, a storied history in Singapore. What's happening right now isn't right, and I'm putting it on the table that something needs to be done.
Something needs to be done, definitely. You're absolutely right. They're taking seed money. They are based in Tampines Hub. That is the Tampines fan base, right? I mean, don't cock it up, right?
Yep, I agree. On that note, right, Sasi, what's the situation with the fitness scene in Singapore? What's happening? What's going on? So, like, last week was the High Rocks, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and so what else now should we be looking
No,
forward
I mean,
to? I saw what you did with the April Fool's joke for Fight Zone. Well, good, huh?
Not bad, lah. Not bad. I mean, I was members were quite happening to play along in silence, right? Yeah, I mean, we did it at one of our clubs, and it was a bit of a, you know how our system works, right? People can come in anytime, and
Yeah.
the circuit starts within 3 minutes. So, 4 or 5 members on the floor, people coming in during the 3 hours non-stop, right? So we were shooting in, and people were still coming in, quieting down. Somebody warning them to keep quiet, those kind of things. Very, 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 very nicely done. So what I think, I saw the High Rocks post pictures, everybody posting their timings, people completed High Rocks. Makes me want to do it, right? But the thing is, it teaches you one thing. When you start working out and you put on your shoes, you go out for a jog, whatever, do not have a plan. Must have a plan. You must have a plan. From where to where you're going to run, right? What you're going to do, what workouts you're going to do. When you go to a gym or you decide to work out, right? Don't walk into the gym and then decide what you're going to do. No way, right? Set your priorities straight. Okay, I'm going to do some movement exercises. I'm going to spend 10 minutes on my upper body. I'm going to choose these exercises. You need to know whether it's a 20-minute run and then you're going to do 30-second sprints, or you plan your workout accordingly and never just do one activity. Make sure your heart rate goes up and down, and make sure you incorporate a lot of movement into it. So, my advice to people: plan your workouts before you leave the house, and you don't need 2 hours. Yeah,
Yeah.
30 minutes is nice, right? Go in, get out, get your heart pumping, come back in, move on to another day. These are for people getting started. Don't get me wrong. You do not need to spend 2 hours of your day. Do not, because a lot of us, we don't have that 2 hours to spend, right? Do that 30 minutes.
Everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face, said Mike Tyson. And on that note, great, Zazie. Thanks very much for this episode,
Right.
and we will see we will speak to all our listeners and our fans again next week. And once again, thanks very much for
Jose,
tuning in.
remember, we're signing off the 10th episode. Yeah, 10.
This is our milestone 10th
Milestone, yeah.
episode, and like we said, we will figure out who we need to bring on board as a first guest. We will get there, and thanks very much for being one of our fans and listening to us. And Sasi, see you again next week.
See you guys. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Pod is brought to you by SW Strategies and Fight Zone. Tune in again next week for another episode.